Ever seen a video so real, it's just unbelievable? Like Steve Buscemi's face on Jennifer Lawrence. Or world leaders just belting out, imagine!
Yeah.
That's the wild world of deepfakes, and today, that's what we're diving deep into.
It really is mind-boggling how this tech has gone from like sci-fi to everyday reality. What was once Hollywood magic is now, in everyone's hands, thanks to AI.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We're talking about videos, audio, even images where someone's face, their voice, even their actions can be just swapped out convincingly. But how does it actually work?
At its core, it's all about deep learning, a type of AI that analyzes and manipulates images. So imagine feeding a computer thousands of pictures of someone's face.
Okay.
The AI learns the nuances, the expressions, basically how that person looks from every angle.
So it's like training an AI to become a master impersonator.
Exactly. Once it's learned the target face, it can map it onto someone else's body in a video. And the real magic comes from these things called generative adversarial networks, or GANs.
Jans. Sounds pretty intense.
They are. Picture two AI networks kind of duking it out, right?
Right.
One creates the deepfake, the other tries to detect if it's real. They keep learning from each other, constantly upping the ante. And it's this competition that really drives the realism, makes deepfakes harder and harder to spot.
So it's an AI arms race, just pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Exactly. And the scary part is as these GANs evolve, even experts have trouble telling real from fake.
Okay, that is both amazing and terrifying at the same time. And you mentioned this tech is becoming more accessible. How easy is it to actually create a deep fake?
Shockingly easy. There are apps out there, like Fake App, that simplify the process into just a few steps.
Wow.
And what's even wilder, it can pull images directly from Google, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you have an online presence.
So anyone with a smartphone and an internet connection could potentially make a deepfake.
That's the reality we're facing. And this accessibility has opened the door to both incredible creativity and, unfortunately, some pretty malicious uses.
Let's talk about the creativity first. How are deepfakes being used in entertainment? I mean, I've seen those Tom Cruise deepfakes on TikTok.
Oh.
Mind-blowingly realistic.
Right. And beyond just mimicking celebrities, deepfakes are bringing historical figures to life, in museums, even generating entirely new AI-powered characters for films and video games. The possibilities are pretty much limitless.
It's like the Wild West of creativity.
Okay.
But we can't ignore the darker side of this tech.
Absolutely. The same technology that can bring joy and innovation can also be weaponized. And we're seeing that play out in scams, blackmail, even political manipulation.
This is where it gets really concerning. We've heard stories of deepfakes being used to swindle people out of millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's chilling, really.
Yeah.
For instance, there was a case last year where scammers used a real-time deepfake of a company's CFO to trick an employee into transferring $25 million. They even mimicked his voice and mannerisms perfectly.
Wait, so they were just using a pre-recorded video. They were actually interacting in real time.
That's what makes this case so alarming. It wasn't just a static deepfake. It was a dynamic performance designed to deceive in real time.
And it's not just businesses at risk, right? I read about that case in South Korea where someone used a deepfake of Elon Musk to scam a woman out of $50,000.
It's a reminder that deepfakes can prey on anyone, exploiting our trust and emotions for malicious gain. Imagine falling for a deepfake Elon Musk promising to take you to Mars, right?
Okay, that would be hard to resist. But seriously, this raises some huge ethical questions. Where do we draw the line?
Yeah, it's a minefield for sure. We're grappling with questions of consent, truth, and accountability in a world where seeing is no longer believing. And the implications for individuals, for society as a whole, are enormous.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, isn't it? When you can fabricate reality so convincingly, it undermines trust at every level.
And it's not just about financial scams, right? Deepfakes have the potential to really wreak havoc in the political arena, too. Absolutely. Imagine a deepfake video of a political candidate making inflammatory statements or engaging in scandalous behavior released right before an election.
Oh, wow.
It could swing public opinion and even influence the outcome of the vote.
We've already seen some close calls. Remember back in 2023 when German Chancellor Olaf Scholz was targeted with a deepfake video?
Oh, yeah.
It sparked legal action, and while it was debunked, it shows how deepfakes can be used to damage reputations and sow distrust in political leaders.
And it's not just individual politicians who are vulnerable. Deepfakes can be used to create false narratives about entire countries or even incite violence by spreading misinformation. Remember that video of President Ali Bongo of Gabon?
Hmm.
It sparked a whole debate about whether it was a deepfake created to mask his health issues and protect his family's rule.
It's unsettling to think how easily this technology could be used to manipulate public perception and destabilize entire nations.
And there's another insidious aspect to this, the liar's dividend.
But what now?
The liar's dividend refers to how deepfakes can actually cast doubt on genuine content. Picture this. A politician denies a real video or audio recording by simply claiming it's a deepfake.
Ah, so even if something is authentic, the mere possibility of a deepfake can be used to discredit it.
Exactly.
That's terrifying.
It creates a world where we can't even trust real evidence anymore. It's a tactic that can be used to evade accountability, muddy the waters of truth, and further erode public trust.
So what can we do about it? Are we just powerless against this tidal wave of fakes?
Not necessarily. There are efforts underway to combat the spread and impact of deepfakes, both from a technological standpoint and through legislation.
Okay, let's start with technology. What's being done to detect and expose deepfakes?
Well, fact checkers are really on the front lines developing and using various techniques to spot the telltale signs of a deepfake. Some of these are quite simple, like reverse image searches to see if the content has appeared elsewhere,
Right.
or frame-by-frame analysis to look for inconsistencies or glitches.
So they're basically digital detectives scrutinizing every pixel for clues.
Precisely. But beyond manual checks, there are some exciting developments in AI-powered deepfake detection tools. Platforms like GFiCat, for instance, are using these tools to identify and flag potentially fake content.
It's like a digital arms race with the fakers and the detectors constantly trying to outsmart each other.
Exactly. And this back and forth will only intensify as technology evolves.
So it sounds like a constant game of cat and mouse.
Yeah.
But what about the legal side of things? Are there any laws in place to protect people from deepfake abuse?
Well, the legal landscape is still evolving, but there have been some important steps forward. Several countries, including the United States, are exploring or have already enacted laws specifically addressing deepfakes, particularly when it comes to elections and non-consensual pornography.
That's encouraging.
Mm.
Are these laws focused on punishing the creators of deepfakes, or are they looking at holding platforms accountable for hosting or distributing them?
It's a bit of both. Some laws criminalize the malicious creation and distribution of deepfakes, while others aim to increase transparency and require platforms to take steps to detect and remove harmful content.
It sounds like we're starting to see a more comprehensive approach targeting both the supply and demand sides of the deepfake problem.
That's the goal. We need to deter malicious use while also protecting free speech and encouraging responsible innovation.
Right, because as we discussed earlier, deepfakes aren't inherently bad. They have the potential for good, too.
Absolutely. It all comes down to how the technology is used, and that brings us back to the importance of education and media literacy.
Okay, so let's say I'm scrolling through my social media feed. What are some practical things I can do to spot a deepfake and protect myself from misinformation?
Well, first off, be wary of content that seems too sensational or outrageous to be true. Deepfakes often play on our emotions. So if something elicits a strong reaction, take a moment to pause and consider the source.
Don't just blindly hit that share button.
Right. Next, pay attention to the details. Look closely at the video or image for inconsistencies, like unnatural movements flickering or blurring around the face.
It's like those old spot the difference games, but
Yeah.
with much higher stakes.
Exactly. And of course, always check the source. Is the content coming from a reputable news outlet or a verified account? Or is it from an unknown or suspicious source?
Makes sense. And if something seems fishy, what should I do? Just ignore it, or is there a way to report it?
If you suspect you've encountered a deepfake, especially if it's being used for harmful purposes, you can report it to the platform where you saw it. Most social media companies have mechanisms for reporting fake or abusive content.
So we all have a role to play in fighting deepfakes, not just as passive consumers, but as active citizens.
Absolutely. We all have a responsibility to be critical consumers of information and to help protect the integrity of the digital world.
This has been incredibly insightful. It's clear that deepfakes are a complex and evolving challenge, but it's also clear that there are people and organizations working hard to address the problem.
I couldn't agree more. While the future of deepfakes is uncertain, one thing is for sure. The choices we make today as individuals, as a society, and as a global community will determine how this powerful technology shapes our world.
And on that note, we'll leave you with one final thought to ponder. If seeing is no longer believing, what will become the new foundation of trust in our digital age? Yeah, it's a question that keeps me up at night.
Right.
So much of our world is digital now, and if we can't trust what we see and hear online, like, where do we go from here?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But there is hope. One of the most promising solutions being explored is something called authentication infrastructure.
But break that down for me. What exactly is authentication infrastructure?
Think of it like a digital fingerprint for videos and images. It's a way to verify the origin and integrity of content using things like watermarks, digital keys, even blockchain technology.
So it's like a seal of authenticity,
Yeah.
assuring us that what we're seeing is the real deal.
Exactly. It's all about creating a system where we can trace the origins of media, see who created it, and ensure it hasn't been tampered with.
That sounds incredibly promising. Who's leading the charge on this?
Well, it's a collaborative effort, which is great to see. The Content Authenticity Initiative, or CAI, is a coalition of media and tech companies, NGOs, academics, and others, all working together to develop and promote open standards for content authenticity.
So it's like a united front against deepfakes, bringing together the best minds to fight this digital fire.
That's a great way to put it. This kind of collaboration is crucial. We need expertise from all sectors to develop effective solutions that can be adopted globally.
It sounds like we're taking some positive steps forward. But what about the long game? What does the future of deepfakes hold? Will we reach a point where we just can't tell real from fake anymore?
It's hard to say for certain. The technology is evolving at a rapid pace, and it's a constant game of cat and mouse between the creators of deepfakes and those trying to detect them.
So an ongoing battle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I believe that with increased awareness, education, and a commitment to developing and implementing safeguards, we can navigate this new reality.
It sounds like a call to action for all of us.
Hmm.
We need to be informed, vigilant, and engaged in shaping the future of this technology.
Well said. The choices we make today will determine how deepfakes impact our world tomorrow.
This has been a really eye-opening deep dive. Thank you for shedding light on this complex and evolving topic.
It's been a pleasure. And remember, knowledge is power. The more we understand about deepfakes, the better equipped we'll be to navigate this new digital landscape.
And to our listeners, we encourage you to stay informed, stay curious, and stay skeptical. Until next time.